Good afternoon. Welcome to the Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office. We were delayed a little bit. I wanted to wait. There was maybe one more news agency coming, but they are not, so we'll continue. I thank you for your patience. I do not have a lot of information to release at this time, but I do want to update you on where the case is actually at. This morning at 3:30 a.m., the FBI contacted our sheriff's office, advised us that Mojave County, Arizona, had stopped the suspect vehicle. There was a foot pursuit. They caught two of the individuals right away. The murder suspect, Mr. Clark, and Tabitha Hazel, the female with them, was apprehended right away. The other male subject remained at large. We were notified at noon today that they have also captured him. At this time, the Chief Deputy Orvis Campbell from the Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office and Detective Tom Couts of Coshocton County Sheriff's Office are on their way there to interview the murder suspect, Mr. Clark. That's pretty much an update at this point. Mojave County has issued a press release. I don't know if you folks have that or not. If you do, fine. If not, I've printed some copies out of what we've received, and you're welcome to them. So that's pretty much a summary of where we're at, so I'll try to entertain some questions. I will tell you ahead of time, I'm not going to address any evidence issues, but I'll try to answer any general questions that you may have.
Now, this could be an evidence issue, I'm not sure. Did they get any weapons when they stopped them, do you know? Or?
We were not informed that there was anything. Their vehicle has been impounded, of course, and it will be processed by an evidence crew to look for evidence there.
Was it still that green van?
Yes, it was. It was still the Dodge. Yes, Ohio plates Dodge van. Mojave County Sheriff's Office was notified yesterday by the FBI of a BOLO to look for this vehicle. I'm sure the FBI has been very helpful in notifying law enforcement across the United States for us.
Sheriff, what are your personal thoughts about this? Because it's been an extraordinary, at least the last 7 days, it's been for all of us. And what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, it's a horrific crime. You know, our hearts go out to the family of the Chumneys. It's hard to imagine anyone could do something this terrible to a very nice elderly couple. So that part of it's hard, but law enforcement agencies have all come together, among with other agencies, FBI, and worked together well to resolve this case. So.
Are you relieved that Mr. Clark is caught?
I'm very relieved because we've been very concerned. I thank God that he's not killed anyone else during his running around the United States avoiding law enforcement.
What is the connection with Tabitha and Collie to Clark? This is the part we don't get. What are they doing with him?
I just think they're known associates that got together up in Canton. I don't know of any more than that.
I mean, it's going to be the road trip from hell, though. I mean, this is kind of bizarre.
Well, I sure wouldn't want to get in that vehicle with him, but they chose to, so.
Did they commit more robberies than the original 3 that were reported?
The only ones I'm aware of is West Virginia, South Carolina, and Georgia.
The FBI contacted Mojave for the BOLO. Did they have information that they were in the area?
I do not know that. I would, and I don't want to assume, but I know the FBI has been working very diligently at notifying law enforcement nationwide.
You guys have previously confirmed there was a previous delivery made to the house by the suspects. Was that firewood? Was it mulch?
I think we're getting into a bit of the evidence there, and I just want to stay away from that. Obviously, I do not want to say anything that could jeopardize this case in any way.
Is Clark and Tabitha, how are they connected to the crime? Are they connected to the crime?
Clark is connected to the murder. The other two with him are not, but they're obviously, I believe, connected to the armed robberies that have happened.
Were there any tips that led authorities to think they were in Arizona, or was it just a random traffic stop?
I'd not heard any. I think the Mojave County Sheriff's Office, I know it was Mojave County Sheriff's deputy that spotted the vehicle, and a chase began from there. Detectives joined in along with other agencies. Eventually the vehicle stopped, and I think it became disabled, then they fled on foot. So The first two were caught pretty quickly, and then the third one, we were notified at noon that he's been apprehended.
So what's next? You've got the guys going out there, then how do they get back here? How do they bring the suspects back?
Well, the detectives are going out to interview the individuals, obviously. They'll be returned by the sheriff's office through process, Coshocton County Sheriff's Office, because they have the murder charges. The robbery cases will have to be handled by the other states, so it's a...
Fly them, do you drive them? How do you get them back?
Well, we'll fly them, but it's a process to go through because it's not an adjoining county to this, so they have a process, they have due process to get returned here.
So they'll have to do an extradition hearing.
Extradition could come to a governor's warrant depending on, or Mr. Clark may voluntarily want to come back here. I don't know that yet.
So the crimes happened in Coshocton County, so what's the connection to Tuscarawas County?
No, the Chumneys were abducted. Their home was broken into and abducted from Tuscarawas County in the village of Strasburg. Their car and their bodies were recovered in Coshocton County.
Will be tried in Coshocton County?
Yes, it will be tried in Coshocton County.
Do we know where the murders took place, Sheriff?
Coshocton County. That's why they're taking the lead on it for the prosecution. This case now turns from an investigation, which is mostly completed, not all the way, but mostly completed. It now turns into prosecution phase of this case.
Can you say anything else about the connection to the Chumneys and to Stewart and Clark? How did they know each other? Was there a connection?
They didn't know each other personally. There was just some contact there with one of the individuals. But again, I don't know what's been all released on that, and I don't want to go into detail on that.
Has your department had any prior contact with Clark, and were you ever concerned about him?
Clark has a criminal record, has been here in our jail. I don't think anyone has the ability to foresee that he would do something this horrific.
What about the other two? They were known.
I don't really know the other two. They're from Stark County, an adjoining county, so I'm not familiar with them.
What was
Was
the
their
murder
family's
suspects
reaction?
familiar with the woods there? This was such a remote area. Any reason to believe that the murder suspects were familiar with that area and the oil things back there, or they just picked it at random?
You would think so, but again, I'm not certain, and I don't want to speculate, and I don't want to touch evidence.
How would you describe the family's reaction when they found out that all of the suspects are now in custody?
I've not had any personal contact with them about that issue. I would think that they're relieved that they're in custody, but they still have a tremendous loss that they have to deal with.
Do we know what the motive was behind the break-in at the house? Do we know why?
I don't think so exactly at this point. That may come out in the trial or later.
Is this a death penalty case?
Well, that's prosecutor's question. I would leave that to the Coshocton County Prosecutor's Office.
We know the Chumneys were murdered in Coshocton County. Do we know anything else about the way that they were killed?
Again, evidence, I just don't want to touch on that.
Can you talk about the cooperation that took to make all this happen today?
Tremendous amount of cooperation. There's a lot of people I want to thank, and I sure hope I don't leave anyone out. I really want to thank the media. You've been outstanding in releasing the information, the pictures, the descriptions, not only here but across the United States. You know, it begins with Strasburg Police, with the Tuscarawas County Sheriff's Office, Coshocton County Sheriff's Office, Coshocton Tuscarawas County Prosecutor, BCI from the state, the FBI, and I'm probably leaving others out that I don't want to, but just tremendous cooperation that brought this good result.
In a rural county like this, you don't expect this kind of a crime to happen. What kind of sense of security do you think was lost because of this?
I think the community was very concerned about this, as they should be. I mean, early in the early stages, you really don't know who committed it, or if they're here and still maybe would commit another one right away. So there was a lot of concern, and I think now there's probably a lot of relief that once they're in custody.
Sheriff, I was here late. Can you give me your opening statement again? I came late.
If I can remember it.
Or, you know, the gist of
Yes.
what you said at the beginning.
3:30 this morning, our sheriff's office here was notified by the FBI that Mojave County, Arizona, had stopped the suspect vehicle and apprehended 2 of the individuals. And then we were notified at noon that the third one had been apprehended also.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
To clarify though, the FBI did specifically notify Mojave County to be on the lookout. This wasn't just a general LO.
I don't know that they specifically targeted Mojave County. I would need to confer with the FBI, but I know they've been putting that information out to all law enforcement agencies. So Mojave County in their press release indicates that they were notified yesterday about this by the FBI. So
Are you kind of surprised that they were still driving that green van with all the publication, all the notice, all, I mean, it just, you're a professional at this.
I'm thankful, but I'm surprised, yes. Yes, they could have kept switching vehicles, which would have made it much more harder to catch up to them.
Will that van have to be transported back to Ohio as well?
That would be a prosecutor's decision, not mine. It's up to them.
How much manpower do you think your office put into this case?
Well, I have 4 detectives that were full-time on it. I was along with them. There were a lot of deputies that were involved. I don't know. We didn't really keep track. It's just whatever it takes to resolve it.
And this might have come up before, and I apologize, but that green van, who does that green van belong to?
I think it's Mr. Clark's. I believe I'm correct on that. I think it belongs to him. I don't anticipate the detectives really getting much done till this evening, so we may have more information tomorrow based on that. I don't know that it'll be a lot, but if you're interested, we could do this again tomorrow just to give you a little update. I can't guarantee what it will be or if it will amount to much, but maybe 2 o'clock tomorrow.